Hi, everyone. So Pluto is in Aquarius, and today it went retrograde. So during the next several months, for as long as Pluto is in retrograde, we are being asked to really look at the lessons that we've learned this year up to this point and how we can apply it moving forward. I'm also called to remind you that all of your power comes from within inside of you. There is no power that you can step into that's external to you. All of your power is inside of you. So I'm being called to remind you, someone, of that. Also, I'm being asked to tell you that there's a need for you to communicate something, and that even though it might require your strength to have that conversation or to speak your mind or to speak your truth, make that make sense for you. But your ancestors are asking you to really step into that power of your truth and to speak it. So the first card we have is transformation. And this is a message from your ancestors. These are messages that are channeled before each of the readings. So with transformation, I do get the sense that there is a massive transformation going on for you, but internally, stepping into your power, nothing to do with the external energies around you, that you may be starting to understand just how powerful you are on your own. So that may be the truth you're being called to speak up about. But let's see what the tarot says. I have 4 tarot decks here, 3 for clarification, and we'll see what comes out. But my intention for this reading is to cover the next several months with Pluto being retrograde. So let's see. So we're starting with the Magician. King of Wands. Hierophant. 2 of Wands. Underneath, Knight of Wands. 8 of Swords. The Star, which I'm going to flip over. 7 of Swords. And the 3 of Wands. So hiding underneath everything is the 9 of Swords. And so when I see the 9 of Swords hiding underneath everything, this is certainly telling me that you're very stressed about something. You have a lot of anxiety about some kind of a situation in your life. And it may be one of those things that's keeping you up at night or making your heart race, or you're pacing the floors that night. Make it make sense for you, but there is a situation that really has you feeling all tied up and on edge. But I am asked to remind you that if you're thinking about one thing or you think there's only one solution, what's coming to me is that there are a lot of solutions to this problem, but you're thinking too small perhaps, and that you might be thinking too small about yourself, that you are not just one thing. You are not one way. You are not one person. You are not one identity. That there are lots of things and potentials out there for you. And so maybe there's a need to not think that you're only one thing. So we'll see how that fits into the reading, but I am getting that strongly for someone to not think that there's only one way for you, one solution, one relationship, one aspect, one job, whatever it is, make it make sense for you. But that's what I have so far. And I think that may be why you're going through this massive transformation, because you may be understanding that power within you that we were talking about. And as Pluto continues to retrograde over the next several months, I think you're going to find that you're transforming yourself more and more as we go over the next several months. But let's go through this one by one with the cards and see what wants to come out. So with the Knight of Wands being here in your current energy, there is a person here. And it feels like there is a strong magnetic pull to this person, like an infatuation with this person, or even perhaps an addiction to this person. It could be the other way around, so make that work for you. But I do get the sense that you are very magnetically drawn to this person. And that's where you are right now, which is what I feel is keeping you up at night. I feel like it has to do with this Knight of Wands person. So you're being asked to focus again on the fear that you have, because we have the Nine of Swords and the Eight of Swords. So you're really being asked to, with this transformation and the Magician coming together, it's to really look at, why are you drawn to this person? Why are you, if I use that word again of obsession or infatuation, if you are feeling that way about this person, to really go into your shadow side, so to speak, and figure out how to liberate yourself from that feeling. Because when we first sat down, we were talking about how your power comes from within and not from an external situation. And I am getting the sense that you're trying to get your power from this person, and it's not working because it continues to make you feel like you're in this small, restrictive energy of fear. And so there's an opportunity here for you to get equilibrium within your own life and in your own power again. But it's by transforming and healing this feeling that you need to have this person, or that there would be somehow negative consequences if you released this person. And so I do feel like the support you need to get for yourself is from yourself. It's from the inside. It's from your inner power. And so I do remember saying when I sat down that there's a need to speak your truth and know that even if it's hard to do that. So let's keep going to see where this is going. But I do feel that there is some kind of an attachment to this person. I don't see the Devil card yet, but we might. But it does feel like there's an attachment to someone that's really stressing you out, keeping you small, and keeping you from really being in your own power. So, but it looks like that's going to be the challenge for you. The King of Wands is showing up as your challenge, and that's you. That's you really being in your power and understanding that everything you have lies within you. Everything you can imagine, you can do. The King of Wands decides what they want and they go for it. They go after it, and they go after it confidently. And I've been getting that word confident in a lot of my readings lately. So if that resonates with you, then definitely take that, because it's coming up a lot that there's a need to be confident, but it's a little bit challenging for you. But what I like with the star coming in here too as your challenge is that there's a feeling that you are going through this massive transformation. You are going through this massive healing, but the angels with the star card represented are on your side. The angels are really going to help you transform and transmute whatever this attachment is to this other person, and start pulling on the energy that's within you, the power that's within you. So in other words, this Knight of Wands person has their power that you're trying to get from them. You're getting outside validation. But you are the King of Wands. So your power is there inside you. And so it's this feeling of transforming from one to the other to heal this wound that you need these outside validations, and understand that you are the King of Wands and you can draw from your own power. And that will ultimately help you do all that really great healing. And I do think too that because this feels very spiritual, especially with the Hierophant and the star, I feel like you're meant to uplift humanity. There's something special about you. And so this is why the cards are saying, okay, use this Pluto retrograde time period to really transform yourself first, so then you can teach others. And I see this through the Hierophant card, that the message coming through here is that you are certainly meant to be a teacher, and that you're meant to send your light to people, and that this is the divine's plan for you, is to really be the one who's going to teach other people how to get out of their own situations like this, their addictions, their attachments, all these external needs for power. Once you transform that and transmute that, you're going to be able to help other people figure out what their next steps are and how to get them out of these tricky situations with the Seven of Swords. And you, once you strike out on your own and release yourself from this over dependency on external things, then that's exactly what you're going to be able to teach others, is how to let them release themselves from these external over dependencies. So I can see that in the course because I set this intention to be for the next several months when Pluto is retrograde. I can see that you're doing that. You're understanding there's a new way to do something with this Two of Wands. So you can see this person in this card. There is the old wand is still there, but it's behind this person. The new wand, this person is facing and holding. So I would say that this old wand that's still behind you here is that addiction, that attachment, that person, that external influences. But you're starting to see now, with the help of Pluto being retrograde, you're starting to see that there's another way. That, wait, this wand represents me, and I can get all my power from me and within me. And this person is holding this globe in their hands, which is symbolic of the whole world is in your hands. The world is your oyster. That once you realize that you are the King of Wands, who is also holding a wand here, once you realize that you are that person, then you can, as we already said, realize that anything you can imagine can be yours. And it looks like this Pluto retrograde is going to really help you get there. And I know this because the Two of Wands is followed by the Three of Wands. And that is about taking that action and now waiting to see what happens, that you've already taken the steps. You do decide during this Pluto retrograde period, you do decide to believe in yourself, call on your own inner power, and understand that you don't need external validation to be powerful, to know who you are and what you are, which it looks like it's divinely orchestrated for you to be a teacher, to allow other people to release their feelings of being trapped in situations or stuck in situations or tied down to people. And again, it's this feeling of the devil energy. I don't see it here, but I keep getting this feeling of the devil energy. But I do think too that you've gone through several lifetimes where you're working on this very particular issue, because again, I feel like there is some kind of a divine orchestration of you being a teacher somehow. So I do think that you had to repeat some patterns, you had to go through some karmic lessons to get to this point. But with the Three of Wands here, I can see that you definitely got there or are getting there. And I just saw 12:34 on the timer when I said that. So this is certainly you knowing that you have done the work and now you're anticipating a change. So, but let's start clarifying so we can get more information. I'd like to know first about this Magician and this Eight of Swords, because again, this is a power, this is an energy of you trying to tap into your own power to overcome these fears that are making you feel trapped. They're making you feel like you're stuck in something. But the Eight of Swords is a card of not actually being stuck. It's just thinking that you're stuck because you're relying on someone else to validate you and they're not validating you. So it's making you feel very scared, very stuck, and very small. So, but let's start clarifying. So with the Magician and the Eight of Swords, there's the Four of Cups. That's the Knight of Cups. And the Seven of Cups. So that's a lot of cups energy. So this is really saying that you have a lot of emotion involved in whatever this is with this person. And again, I was getting this feeling that there was like an infatuation or an obsession or needing emotional validation from them. And so this is really saying to follow your heart, but look very closely at what those options are. So I'm being inclined to say something like the heart wants what the heart wants, which in this case, it looks like it's this Knight of Wands person. But these cards are saying, but to transmute that, transform that into love for yourself. Oh, and I remember saying when I first sat down and I saw this Nine of Swords that you're not just one thing. You're not just one person's partner. You're not just one person's spouse. You're not just one person's employee. You're not that. You're so many things. You have so many options. And the Seven of Cups is confirming that. To follow your heart towards a different option, one that's going to give you more stability, more emotional stability, and safety, feeling like your heart is safe, because I'm under the impression that your heart doesn't feel safe with whoever this person or situation is. And so this is again giving that same message to understand that you have more options, that this person is not the end all be all for you and your happiness. In fact, they're standing in the way of your happiness and probably your divine path, your divine plan to teach other people how to get out of their own tricky situations. So, but why the King of Wands and the Star? So there's the Six of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles. So that's interesting because here our clarifiers were all cups, and now our clarifiers are all pentacles. But we had the Four of Cups and the Four of Pentacles, which are fours are all about stability, safety, security, feeling solid and grounded. And so again, you're shifting from this, I don't feel emotionally safe, I feel confused, I feel overwhelmed, I feel like someone could be gaslighting me with these 7 cups, into this energy of saying, look, I know this is going to be challenging for you to step into your power and to ask for help where you need it and to make your own stability. And there's another Knight here. There's a Knight of Pentacles here, which is, again, this is you. This is you being able to tap inside of you and find your own power to give to yourself, to be stable for yourself, be stable on your own. And that once by releasing this person and understanding that you can get that validation from yourself, although it's a challenge, it's going to be the total game changer. And it's going to open up all these brand new doors for you, that your validation comes from you, not from this person. So with the Hierophant and the 7 of Swords, we have the 3 of Pentacles. There's the Queen of Wands and the High Priestess. So the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands are both here, and these are both you. These are both you being extremely powerful because you realize that all of your energy, all of your power, all of your validation comes from within. You've done this at this point. The 3 of Pentacles with the Hierophant is confirming to me that you're meant to teach other people. There's some kind of a collaboration. There are people who look up to you, people who want to listen to you. This is a group of people who really want to learn from you and how you stepped into your power and using your intuitive abilities to do just that. You are showing up as an extremely powerful person in this row, and that is the message that's coming through here, that you're a very powerful teacher to other people who can teach them how to open their own intuition, use their intuition, trust their gut when it comes to these tricky situations, these addictions, these attachments, whatever that is for them. But this is a very important thing for you in this lifetime. So the 2 of Wands and the 3 of Wands are clarified by the 5 of Swords, the 2 of Cups, and the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords is tying us right back to this. So you still feel a bit trapped in this energy though, where you can see that you hold the power in this wand to help yourself and to be your own teacher, your own inspiration, your own validation, your own source of love. But there's still an energy coming through here of you being conflicted about this person, that you feel like being in relationships are meant to be the thing to prop you up and to give you the validation. And if someone else loves you, then that means you're lovable. So there's still a lesson coming through here for you to really move away from that conflict, that you need someone else for validation, that just isn't your truth. And we said when we first sat down to really speak your truth. And your truth is that each and every person is their own individual with their own source of validation. Everyone is lovable. Loving yourself comes first. And once you do that, you can teach that. You're meant to teach that and put that information out to other people, that you don't have to be in a relationship to feel validated, to feel loved, because you are loved. You are love, and it all comes from within you. There's this inner energy that people are not tapping into, and you're meant to teach. Wow. So I would like to get one oracle card. These Alice cards are pretty magical for me, so I'd like to see what she has to say in this situation. So this says, it's always tea time. Eternity, endless moments, and repetition. So this is confirming to me what I was getting before, that it feels like you've had to repeat some cycles, that perhaps you were the kind of person who jumped from one relationship to the next, that as long as you were getting validation in a relationship, you stayed, but then the minute you stopped getting validation, you jumped into another one. So if that resonates for you, that's what I think I was getting earlier, that you've almost had to repeat patterns. You've had to go through karmic cycles. You've had to learn karmic lessons in order to get to this status of teacher. But you're so close. You're so close to getting to this status of spiritual teacher that it feels like as soon as you tap in and you feel that validation come from within, I feel like the floodgates are going to open and you're going to be able to get on this path pretty quickly. And I do think that Pluto retrograde is going to help you with all of that. So there you go. There is your Pluto retrograde reading. Will you please let me know how this was resonant for you? And we will do this again sometime. Thanks, everybody. Bye.